Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks for tuning in to Crashy News, where we bring you the latest in Crash Bandicoot news and updates. Crash Team Racing Nitro-Fueled is still riding high following its win for Best Sports Racing Game at the Game Awards, with the continuation of the Grand Prix seasonal events. The Rustland Grand Prix, with its post-apocalyptic insanity, has already debuted since mid-January, but as it's become tradition for a while now, when a Grand Prix begins, the community are already hearing from the grapevine about what the next one will be about. A famed figure of the Crash modding community, BetaM, has been datamining CTR Nitro-Fueled ever since its release whenever an update for the game would drop, indicating what upcoming Grand Prix seasons would bring to the table. And alongside findings from other figures such as COGMONKEY and Lolwutburger, we now have an overall idea of what's gonna happen in the 8th Grand Prix that will debut in mid-February. Before we go any further, we have to warn you that this video contains huge spoilers, so if you wish to keep the surprise for yourself, please quit the video immediately. Also, as previous datamines didn't entirely reflect on what past Grand Prix did bring due to change of plans, we're categorizing the subject as a rumor, so take all of this with a little pinch of salt. Starting off with the writings of BetaM, we know that the signature track of this Grand Prix season is codenamed T508 Toxic. It should be reminded that Mega Mix Mania used to be codenamed as T507 Dryland in reference to the sandy post-apocalyptic desert, while Gingerbread Joyride was codenamed T506 Luminous in reference to the Christmas lights. So in that case, it wouldn't be implausible to assume that the track revolves around toxicity, whether it's from the flora, the fauna, or the air found in the environment. Next, we have the driver entry for this Grand Prix, codenamed Driver Joe. Taking the codename at face value, we know it can't be Komodo Joe, as he's already a part of the base game, and the only Crash character yet to appear in which Joe is in his name is the very obscure Joe Blow from the Nintendo DS version of Crash of the Titans. And given how he's at the very bottom of obscurity, there's very slim chances he could ever be included. It's most likely that the codename is simply a red herring, as the developers have become aware of the community datamining the game, thus stopping writing the actual names of eventual character inclusions into the code. Luckily, with the help of other findings, we know who that Driver Joe actually is. Partly thanks to COGMONKEY, we've recovered the stickers that would be sold in the pit stop during this Grand Prix season, and they not only give a clue of who's the flagship racer, but also a more precise idea of the overall theme. We have stickers depicting pizza and hamburgers in a rubber hose style, with the pizza sporting a third eye and arm, and the burger looking spoiled and greenish. Then we have stickers depicted as emblems reminiscent of space program agencies such as NASA, with one including Koala Kong's face. We have a sticker that's another emblem, but with an angular skull behind a rainbow. We have a sticker of King Chicken, but now green, with a space helmet in exchange for his crown, possibly depicting a new skin. And finally, we have stickers that most likely represent the flagship racer of the season, one of them being the portrait of none other than Emperor Velo the 27th himself, alongside what looks to be his signature emblem. While Velo is already part of the base roster in his real form, his fake form is proven by fans to be the most recognizable and appreciated version of the character. And if he gets included, this would lead to Nitro-Fueled providing the complete reunion of all playable characters in previous Crash racing games, all versions combined. But aside from Velo, we now know that this season is themed around space, and that would likely mean that the track would take place on a toxic alien planet with weird fast food drive-thrus next to the road. Could this take place on Nitrous Oxide's home planet Gasmoxia? It's possible. After all, from how the promotional comic for Nitro-Fueled depicts it, Gasmoxia is filled with some pretty toxic smogs due to pollution. We also have a list of characters that'll be getting legendary skins as part of the space-themed season. We naturally have a legendary skin for the flagship racer Driver Joe, who's most likely Emperor Velo, and it's very plausible that this will be unlocked through the Nitro gauge. But aside from that, we'll be getting skins for King Chicken, as mentioned earlier, Koala Kong, N-Brio, the Nitro Squad including Tana, and even Spyro the Dragon. Lolwutburger has also managed to recover preliminary animations of how some of these skins would play out in the podium. We can see Tana and Liz shooting with what looks like laser guns, as well as Koala Kong pressing a button on his belt to activate anti-gravity and float upwards. Based on these animations and the overall space theming of the Grand Prix, these skins in terms of appearance would be in the same vein as the star skins for Crash, Cortex, Coco, and Oxide respectively. Each Grand Prix season has always brought exactly 3 new kart sets to unlock alongside a whole set of wheels, and this one is no exception. Again, like the driver, the karts no longer have their specific name written in the code, and are given vague code names based on 3 initials. None of the initials in the codename seem to correlate with any vehicles from Crash Tag Team Racing yet to appear in Nitro-Fueled, if we assume that at least one of those new karts would be brought over from that game, and won't be all original creations. So when it comes to these 3 karts, there's nothing interesting to talk about. However, there's an entry for a promotional limited kart that was previously discovered in the data mining of the Russland Grand Prix, and it's been updated with not only a new name, but also an icon depicting how it looks. This vehicle is shaped like a high-end superkart with a motorsport flair and bold colors, and it's now named the Xfinity Flash. Given that we had promotional tie-ins with Mondelez's Candles and the Call of Duty endowment, we could assume that this kart would be a tie-in to the consumer cable brand Xfinity, owned by Comcast. This doesn't seem to make much sense until you realize that Comcast, through the Xfinity brand, is sponsoring one of NASCAR's series of stock car racing competitions, which means, in short, that this kart could be a NASCAR tie-in. Speaking of name changes, a driver entry that was also discovered in the data mining of the Russland Grand Prix got his name updated from Driver Who Am I to Driver Who Could I Be? No other info can be found about that racer other than the fact that it's not linked to any season yet. Although, the 7th Grand Prix data mine also revealed plans to include developers' time ghosts to be beaten in all CTR and CNK tracks in time trial mode. So there's a possibility that Driver Who Could I Be, whoever it turns out to be, could be linked to that. That's all we have for today. We hope you liked the story, and if you did, be sure to leave a like, share the video, and subscribe to this channel to keep up with future updates. For more regular coverage, also check the Crashy News website and follow us on social media. Links in the description below. This is Crashy News, leaving you with the quote of the day. Tiny was a good fellow. He hated everyone and everything, but a good heart nonetheless.